date is something that's especially personal for me, September 26th, because it was exactly 1 year ago that me and a couple of my friends were involved in an anti-gay assault in Hell's Kitchen outside of McCoy's. And we left that night thinking that nothing was going to be done, without hope. Unfortunately, which is all too common in anti-gay hate crimes, not only in New York City, but in America. But within 36 hours, all of a sudden, the city council speaker, Quinn, put out a statement calling for an investigation not only into the incident, but into the officers who were there. And because of that, we were able to see justice. So she means a lot to me personally. In my opinion, she is probably the loudest and proudest elected official fighting for your rights in New York City and probably within America. She is the first openly gay city council speaker, the first woman. Please welcome New York City Council Speaker Quinn.
Story. And the key part of that story he glossed over is really in some ways represented by how big this march is today. Blake left McCoy's and did something about it. He blogged about it. He called people. He didn't stay silent and just take being a victim. He decided he was going to be a survivor, and that's what caused the city of New York to respond to what has happened, and that is what all of you are doing here today. I want to thank my colleagues who are with me today. We have Councilmember Tish James from Brooklyn, who is an enormous ally of the LGBT community. We also have one of our two openly gay city council members from Queens, Jimmy Van Bramer. And in a borough that once led the efforts to try to rid our public schools of the Children of the Rainbow curriculum, now 500,000 of the residents of that borough are represented by openly gay men, Jimmy Van Bramer and Danny Drone. I want to thank Kathy and Ron and Blake and everyone who is part of putting today's event together. I want to congratulate all of your Grand Marshals, Peppermint, Reverend Baumgartner, the Rule family, Sue L. Morgan, everyone who is making today happen. I have to say, I turned the corner, and in my mind, I thought we were gathering again in City Hall Park. So I turned the corner, and I saw all of you here, and I said to my staff member, "What is that? It's huge." And she said, "It's the wedding march. This is the biggest wedding march we have ever had." And literally, honestly, you took my breath away when I realized this was the march right here. You look so amazing. Now, I have a couple of jobs I have to do today. The first is give greetings from our Attorney General, Andrew Cuomo. He reached out to me this morning. He couldn't make it to today's event, but he wanted everyone to know that there are a lot of great visions he has in his mind of what he can do for New York State when he's governor. But one of the ones that is at the top of his list is the day he gets to sign marriage equality into law. And he wants to thank all of you for helping make that day a reality for him and for all of us in New York. Now, as council speaker, I have a lot of powers. But the biggest power is in proclamations. You may not know that. And I would have brought the formal proclamation today, but it was too big for anybody's pocketbook. So instead, we have a copy. And with the power given to me by my colleagues, Tish and Jimmy and others, we are, and we'll mail the organizers the official proclamation, but we are declaring today, in all 5 boroughs, whether you're a homophobe somewhere in the city and you want it or not, today is officially Marriage Equality Day in New York City. Just in closing, before I turn the mic over to Jimmy and Tish, I want to personally say thank you. On September 14th, it was my partner, Kim, and I. It was our 9th anniversary. And thank you. I marvel she's hung around this long sometimes, and because I'm not easy. But, you know, my dad turned 84 in August. Her dad, who had open heart surgery last year and is doing great, will turn 85 in January. And some people may think this is just a bill and they can debate it to death and they can ignore it to death and it's just a piece of paper. bill is much more to me and her and all of you than a piece of paper. It's about the moments of our lives. Think if that surgery had gone poorly last winter and we had lost her dad, and then there would be no hope he would get to see us married. Think they're 84 and 85, they've had long lives. Think if they don't get to see us get married because some fool of a state senator can't wrap his or her mind around my family. This bill isn't a piece of paper, it's real lives and real families, and we demand that as soon as the Senate goes back into business, they wake up and do what Tom Dwayne has been telling them to do and pass this law so Governor Cuomo can sign it and we can be done with all this foolishness. So thank you all for moving us to that day, and let me give you Councilmember Jimmy Van Breen.
First of all, how wonderful is it to have an openly lesbian speaker of the New York City Council? We are fortunate to have the leadership of Speaker Christine Quinn. She is a fierce, fierce fighter on behalf of all of us, so I want to thank her on behalf of me and all of those 500,000 people in Queens who are lucky to have her as our speaker every single day. And I just wanted to convey a short message. Queens, the borough of Queens, supports marriage equality. And Madam Speaker, because I know you got the joke, some queens are also for marriage equality. Including present company. So I just want to say on behalf of myself and my partner that one day all of us will get to that promised land of full marriage equality. The march to full freedom is a long one, but we are good fighters, we are in for the long haul, and we will win this fight soon. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Tish James.
Is Brooklyn in the house? Is Brooklyn in the house? I would argue Brooklyn is the most progressive borough in the city of New York. And I say that as an African-American woman, and as I look in my history books, I remember there was a time when African-Americans could not marry white people. This is a struggle of civil rights and human rights. And as we stand in this Foley Square, as we are surrounded by all of these courts of justice, this is an issue of justice and fairness and equality. So all of you march on today. March on for fairness and equality, because one day our laws will apply to you, because what is the state of affairs right now is unfair to everyone, and the laws should be applied as one standard to everyone. I wish you the best of luck. I am with you. I am an honorary member of the Gay Caucus in the City Council, and I'll stand with you all time for justice. Bless you.
Bill de Blasio is New York City's public advocate, a watchdog within government to make sure New Yorkers get all the services from government to which they are entitled. If a city agency fails you, the public